Good morning.
It's Thursday and it's Kaylin with Remax.
And Lisa Seversyke with Global State Mortgage.
Yeah, it's a happy Thursday today.
It is happy Thursday. Are
I-
you feeling good?
I'm feeling really good.
You just had a lot of sunshine.
I did.
And fresh ocean air.
Oh, I know. And no bugs. There's no bugs out there.
That's why, like, San Diego is kind of paradise.
Yes, and that's where I was. I was in San Diego for a few days.
What were you doing there?
I was at a Brian Buffini. We've talked about Brian before with the Immigrant Edge, his book. I was out at his mastermind conference, and it was pretty much mind-blowing. So, yeah.
You come out going, oh, my goodness.
I know, exactly. I mean, it was very inspirational. I mean, and sometimes I think you need that little lift up because you get kind of, you kind of get in the grind.
You do.
And you're kind of like, oh,
And that's what they say, right? Like, instead of working in your business, or no, what is it? You're working
on your business. There's on and in.
Right. And you need to not only work
in your business, you need to work on your business.
On your business.
Right. Exactly. I think that's how it goes. Yeah, we're always really prepared for this, as you can tell. But yes, I mean, because sometimes you just get so focused in the grind of, I have to make this phone call, I have to deal with this, I have to deal with that, I have to deal with that person, that you forget about why you're doing it, what your purpose is. And that's really what this all was all about, was your purposes.
Right.
And one of the tasks was, we talked about what you want to do, where you want to go, and what you want to achieve. And after you start thinking about that, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be working a lot longer than I thought I was.
I'm not retiring next year.
No, there's a lot of things I want to do. There's a lot of places I want to go, and there's a lot of things I want to achieve. So I'm like, hey, there's no timeline.
Yeah.
There's no deadline on when so it was really good about, focusing on what you want to do and what you want to achieve. So it was very inspiring. I
love that. Yeah. And I actually love it that, you're bringing in your personal, because all of us have all these gifts and talents, right? And I think that, we feel right. She's real estate, right? Passionate about, the homes and what that looks like and getting you into the right home and finding the right place and what that looks like. And, for me, I'm all about the financial side, right? Like, I love finding, getting people to the closing table and them financially feeling really great about the decision they've made and their payments and things like that. And so I think going to things like that, it kind of renews the why.
Yeah, it's like jumping into a cold swimming pool, and it wakes you up, It wakes you up, because I did get to go to the ocean, and when that first wave hits you, it's a little cold.
And it's salty.
Oh my gosh, it's salty. Yeah, ick. But and sand is everywhere.
Yes, everywhere.
Yeah, so that's the downside of the beach. But yeah, it was very refreshing. It's so everybody, I encourage you to do that for yourself. Find something that just refreshes you and and
embrace it. And sometimes take time out away from the business you're in to help keep you inspired and why you're doing what you do.
Exactly. So
So I know when you were there, you had a little bit of conversation about, because her daughter Erica was there. My daughter went with
me. Yes, it was great for her too.
Yeah, and so just having conversation, as now she's not going to retire, but.
But I've talked about this, with my son-in-law and my daughter, and we've had that conversation before about, me moving in with them at some point, and I'm thinking about, that's a pretty good idea.
You can watch my dog.
Yeah, exactly. So, because I'm thinking too, as their lives get busier and my work life may slow down at some point, after we get that what I want to achieve, maybe not.
Years.
But so what if we do want to combine households? How does that look like? Because I'm like, and I'm not just gonna move into their basement. I'm gonna move into their basement. I'm gonna,
mama's quarters.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll do it halfway. So it's going to have a walkout. It's going to be on a golf course. That whole thing. So I've got my priorities in place. Yeah.
I like that.
So, but I'll be a built-in, grandma carpooler, and I have a puppy sitter. So that's what we're kind of thinking down the road. But we'll see if this really happens. But that conversation came up, but how do you buy that then when, mom or grandma or dad or whoever is going to combine households with their children? So how does that work, Lisa?
So there's actually some things to think about. So we can have multiple people on a loan. So it does not, like, some people are like, well, don't you have, single person, or don't you have to be, no, you can have, there's lots of borrowers, up to 6 borrowers can be on a loan.
Okay.
And there's a difference in the loan if you're planning to occupy the house or not occupy.
Okay.
Not occupying is a whole different video series. But if you're planning on living in that house,
okay,
you actually have a choice. So you need to think about estate planning as well.
Yes, that's huge. Yes.
For
how you're gonna own it as far as title is concerned. Yeah.
Title is concerned.
Joint tenants, tenants in common,
things like that. And then there's also estate planning for financially, if depending on the age or the health of the person moving in the house, you have a lot too with assisted living or nursing home care, and financially, what does that look like? So that may help make the decision about if you're on title or you want to be on the note as well. So if you're on the note, so some people need that person to be on the note just financially, maybe because you're buying a bigger house, because you want that apartment above the garage, or you want that fully finished walkout basement on the golf course, because you have a high maintenance person moving. You know? So it might be a bigger or a higher priced house, and so you do need the income from the other person. Right. But that person doesn't necessarily have to be on title with you. And so some people choose to buy it themselves because they can, and then the person just moves in. Or sometimes, like if you are selling your house, you also have capital gains issues to think about if you're having a net proceeds from your house and what you're doing with it. Right. So you might want to be on the loan because you would want to take, and you're going to live there, right? So you want to help out your son or your daughter and son-in-law and put some of those proceeds
into that house.
Into the house more than just gifting it, because you need to do something with
that
money.
Right. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So now I have to figure out when this will happen, if this will happen, and then prepare for how we want to own this. Right. Because really, you know, you don't want things to get messy when it comes to estate time. Right. You want it pretty simple and have those ducks in a row. And then, you know, the attorneys will talk to you about this at closing table, how you own that property, because that makes a big difference on how, you know, you live your life and how things happen once you're gone.
It really does.
So,
because you don't want to, if something happens to one of those people, and maybe you're one of 5 kids, right? Well, if you own it tenants in common, well, now this person owns a third of the home, and they have to buy you out. Right. They've been taking care. I mean, there's a lot of things to kind of go through.
To take into consideration.
Right. So you want kind of consulting your estate, whoever is part of your estate planning, an attorney, things like that. And the other thing to consider is that maybe you found a home that you love, but it's not set up exactly right. And that's kind of when maybe a renovation loan comes into play. True. You're buying the house.
Because you want to take that, you know, you've got enough property and enough easement or whatever that you can add on to add on that mother-in-law apartment.
Yes.
So, and then you have to talk about zoning. Can you do that?
Okay, so it depends what county you're in, right? Or what your city you're in. Yes.
Yeah, right. So that's a whole other subject. But just
throwing that one out
just throw that one out there. But you know, you will occasionally come across a property that was kind of built that way too, for a mother-in-law suite. I don't know why they always called a mother-in-law.
I know.
suite.
Why is it always mother-in-law? Why is it father-in-law?
Or mom. Or dad.
Yeah. There's a stigma with that, I think.
guess. I don't know. But anyway. But anyway, so
they have them a lot, like in Florida and places. I think if they have visitors, actually. But you know, you have those little offshoots of a house or things like that.
Absolutely. The beach house or the pool.
Yeah, the pool.
Oh, there we go. So yeah, this cost of this house is just going up exponentially here. So. But yeah, so that's something to consider, you know, with your lifestyle, your point in your life with your family. Obviously, you got to get along with them.
Yes.
That would, and then your estate planning.
We can't help with that.
We can't help with that. That's beyond our scope. Yeah, we are not counselors.
We're not counselors. We're not attorneys, and
we're
not tax accountants. We mortgage lender, realtor.
Exactly right. Yes. Not an inspector, not a contractor, plumber. So anyway, but so that's something that discuss with your family. If that's an option for you, I can help you find that house that works. And she can help you with that loan.
Right.
Yeah. Figure out how to finance that.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So you can have up to 6 people on a loan. That I learned something new today.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Which, you do have on home delivery, but like investment property. I mean, there's a lot of reasons you might have. No, 6 people on a loan is a lot of paperwork, so just remember that. But I'm willing to do it.
a little extra time for closing day, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So
it's a lot of signatures.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So any questions on that? I think whether it's the house and what a house looks like or the financing side, maybe, you're not ready for it yet, but you're just kind of exploring those options. I mean, sometimes it takes a while to figure out what you want to do with that, but it's worth starting the talk. And like I said, sometimes it's for health reasons. Sometimes it's just like we've had people moving, right? They want to be closer to family. And do I want to buy my own house or do I want to move in with somebody who's there just because of future circumstances?
Yeah, and sometimes it's just a support system for the younger part of the family who's busy going 16 different directions at a time. And then the family members there to kind of, take care of the basics of life.
Yeah.
So if that's, something that you're considering for your family, obviously there are housing options we can talk about. And whether it's new or pre-owned or something that you can renovate. And then, she can take care of the financial part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot of questions there. Or if you need advice and you want to be referred to somebody, estate planning person or anything like that, we can also help you out that way because we're really not attorneys.
No, we're not. Exactly.
All right.
Hey, everybody have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.
We'll see you next week.